and welcome. This is going to be the fourth. Oh, I don't know what day it is anymore. This is going to be our week 4 teen craft. So you can watch this video and learn how to make it with the craft kit that you picked up. And yeah, it'll be fun. So this is your craft kit for week 4, right? This says 4 on it, right? So there's a couple things that you'll get in it. Some of the other things that you'll have to provide yourself, but that's really easy to do. So in your craft kit, you'll get this nice little piece of cardboard to put your clay masterpiece on. And then you'll get a bag, half a cup of cornstarch, and a cup of baking soda, and a little pokey wooden skewer, just for funsies. Well, just because you might need it. If not, you're doing this at home, you might have the other tools that you need. If you want, you can use a rolling pin, you know, all that kind of stuff. You're gonna need a spoon, that kind of stuff. But let's get started. Oh, and don't forget, if you haven't signed up for the summer reading challenge, summer virtual activity challenge, whatever it's called, you know what I mean, to do that. This is great. You don't have to be signed up to pick up the craft bags, but you can. Oh, and the craft bags, in case I've forgotten to mention, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 12 to 2, you can call 760-839-5456 to pick up your craft bag. Okay? Yes. So, what we're going to do first is you're going to need a hot plate or a stove. You're going to need a little pan, like so. You're going to need half a cup of water. You can provide that yourself. At least I hope you can. Well, if you can't, let me know. You got your half a cup of cornstarch and your 1 cup of baking soda. And you're going to need a spoon to stir with, or, you know, hit your brother with. You can do that too. Ask your mom first. And let's see. If you have food coloring to color your dough, you can use that. If not, you can always paint it after your dough is dry. And then also make sure before you start that you've gone outside and you found some leaves for your clay relief, okay? These are the leaves that I have chosen. They're very pretty. And so exciting. Okay, so I've turned on my little hot plate here. It looks like it's gotten warmed up. Got my spoon. Check, check, double check. Make sure you got all your tools. Oh, and then you're also gonna need a bowl of some kind. Okay, here we go. So all you do is, you know, put the pan on the hot spot. Ooh, sizzle. And then you put all of your stuff in. You got a half a cup of water, your half a cup of cornstarch. Woo! Ah! That's the sink. And a cup of baking soda. And then all you're gonna do is use your spoon, and you're just gonna mix that up. It's kind of a little hard to see there, but it's going to be kind of like a paste. But you want to mix it up until you don't have any lumps. And the heat of the pan will help like evaporate the water and make your mixture a nice squishy mixture. See, it's getting kind of warm there. So you're just going to push it around. It's going to take a minute. You just kind of mix it up. If you don't like using the stove, ask your mom or dad. But as you're mixing it, the water is sort of becoming goopy, and that's kind of what you want to see. You want to keep stirring it until all those lumps disappear. Sorry, I'm hearing a weird noise. Anyway, just keep stirring. See how it gets kind of goopy? Oh, it's the pan. Must have gotten a little something on it. That's the pan is making that little sizzling sound. And so you see now it gets kind of liquidy. I can't tilt it too much or else it'll pour out of the pan. So now it's a nice little puddle of goo. And this is a good time if you want to put some food coloring in. I'm going to do like a bunch of green, like if you want, because the leaves are green. And then I'm going to do a bunch of red, hoping to get like a brown color. If you don't have any food coloring, that's fine. You can always... if you have some paint at home or markers, once your project is all finished, you can always paint it. Woo! It looks like chocolate milk. Oh, that's creepy. Let's see. Now, how can I get this a bit more brown? Maybe we just need more green. I don't know. And then what you're gonna do is you're just gonna kind of keep stirring. So the idea is it's heating up, it's very exciting, but you want to keep stirring, and when you start seeing lumps begin to form after you've gotten rid of all of them, and the mixture starts pulling away from the sides and starts forming its own ball, then you know that's the time. Okay, so it's a bit darker chocolatey, but I don't think I'm gonna get it any browner. It's sort of an icky brown color, so we're just gonna stick with that. Yay! And then if you can't see it, it's starting to make its own lumps, and that's good because it's starting to stick to each other and making more of like a clay type, or a Play-Doh type. So if you just keep stirring, like I said, until it starts forming clumps and it starts pulling away from the pan. Okay, so see, as you see, it's starting to make its own way. What's happening is the water is starting to like dilute, or not dilute, it's starting to evaporate and beginning to make this more of a clay-like substance. So you just want to keep stirring, and then once you stop seeing liquid, when you see it more of a big ball, you want to take it off of the heat, right? Off of the heat. So you just need to keep stirring it a little bit, and you want it to form into like a ball. But you want to get all of it together until it's like a little ball, or shaped into a ball. Just kind of keep stirring it a little bit. You want to kind of keep stirring it. Just to, not really stirring it, but more like forming it into a ball. Just kind of scooping it, little pat pat. Kind of scooping it, little pat pat. Just kind of getting it into a ball. And then once it's into a ball, you want to put it in your bowl. Just plop it in your bowl. It looks like E.T. I don't know, this is a weird color. That's okay. It's a ball, right? And then what you want to do is, if you have like a cloth, you need to put a wet cloth over your stuff. I get some paper towels, because the cloth I was using doesn't work super well. But, so if you want, you can use paper towel. And you just want to get your paper towel or your cloth, but not like a thick cloth that you dry your dishes with, something a little thinner. You don't want to wring out too much of the water because it needs to be wet. And then you're going to put that over the bowl, and it's going to help cool off your dough. Keep it cool. And that's just, you're going to have to probably leave this on here for about 30 to 40 minutes to get the dough to cool off completely before you start manipulating it. Okay? So we're going to do a nice fade out, and then we'll come back when our dough is ready. And welcome back. Now, the clay that we have made, or dough, or whatever you want to call it, is now been covered for 30 to 45 minutes, and it's now completely cool. Costume change. So now all we have to do is take off the wet cloth that we used. I just used paper towel, throw it away, and I ended up with this funny purple color. It's very nice. So basically you just pick it up out of the thing. It actually makes quite a bit of dough, and you don't need your piece to be that thick. So if you want, you can actually like just take half of it and make two different projects with it. But you want to use it quite, not quickly, but soon-ish, because then it'll dry out. Some left over. Anyway, so we're just going to take this piece, and then you're just going to knead it for about 30 seconds. The cornstarch makes it kind of like crumbly, but that's okay. But the kneading just kind of gets it where it needs to be. Look at this fun color. It's like this weird burnt orange. Didn't finish, but that's okay. Nails are fun. Anyway, and then you've got your piece of cardboard that was included in your bag. Just knead it for a bit so it gets a little bit of like special. And you've gone outside and you've gotten your leaf. And if your leaf is like super big and you want to make a big piece so the whole leaf will fit on it, of course feel free to use all the dough. Make it as but the one I did earlier was too thick, so it took forever to dry. Okay, So now we've kneaded this for like 30 seconds. So we're just gonna stick it on here. And you want, if you don't have a rolling pin or something like that at home, find something. This is like one of those fake candle things, but it has no ridges, it's completely flat. And you, just like pizza, you can use that to roll out your clay, dough, whatever you want to call it. You know, use the forces of good, not the forces of evil. You know, unless that's your thing, then, you know, feel free. Like I said, you want it kind of thinner so that it doesn't, so it dries quicker. Ah, that looks about right. That looks good. Oh, turn off the light, don't need that. Ambiance. And then my leaf will fit perfectly on here. So put the leaf, however, wherever you want, on your bednass. And just kind of, oops, maybe this is too small. We're gonna roll it out a little farther then. Because the light in the candle turns on and off. It's like a disco. Okay, that's as good as it's gonna get. You don't wanna make it too thin. So, put your leaf on your thing. You know what I'm gonna do? These are connected, so I'm gonna unconnect them. So just kind of place them where you want on the dough, on your clay, whatever you're calling it these days. And then use this to roll the leaf into the clay. Well, you can experiment however you want. You've given the tools, these are the instructions, this is how it works. So basically you use that thingamadoodle, your candle, to wash this later, to push the leaf design into the clay so that you get like that relief, like fossils, yeah? And again, if it is a little thicker, you might have a better chance of it going into the clay, but you know, it's okay. Okay, so we've done that, so now you can pull the leaves out, and you don't see much of a leaf shape. I've probably picked the wrong kind of leaves, but whatever, that's okay. That's what we do this for, super fun. Or maybe a thicker, maybe if it was a little thicker, we could push it further in, but you can sort of kind of see the leaf shape a little bit if you look at it funny. But you can see that. If you have food coloring at home, like I showed you in the beginning part, you can put food coloring in it, but feel free to experiment as much as you want with this. Because if you only use half, I can get another leaf really quick and do this half if I really want to. So you've got it in here, that's really exciting. But before it dries, you want to get rid of just like the excess. So you can use like a butter knife or anything you want. I'm just using this spatula. So I am just cutting off sort of like those edges of the clay that you don't really need, you know, because they look kind of funky. Just kind of squaring it off. Kind of like that. Yay, it's pretty. You can also use the little skewer I gave you to make a hole. Where's my skewer? So when this dries, you can, if you use the skewer to make a hole, then you can make a bigger hole and you can hang this from somewhere if you would like. But you have to wait till it dries. And it's gonna take a while to dry. I recommend putting it outside in the sun. If you can, that's the reason we didn't make it super thick, but now it has a hole in it. And if you want, you can get even more fancy, you know, and be like, oh, there's my leaf, you know, but I wanna make sure I have, you know, you can get really specific with whatever tool it is you're using and like cut off as much as you want or create like a fun shape, whatever you want to do to make your little design. Yeah, that's it. Set this outside in the sun if you can. It's going to take a couple hours to dry. The leaf shape probably will show up a little bit better. And then once it dries, if like, say you've colored it and it looks great, but your leaf is not super great, you can always put like a little paint over it or even a Sharpie once it dries if you want to highlight the leaf shape. And if you didn't put any food coloring in it, you can always wait till it dries completely and then paint the whole thing, or just paint the leaves. Do whatever you want, but make sure it's dried completely before you do anything, because it's a little fragile at this point. So there it is. There is your clay relief. We show you how to make the clay, and then you basically just push the leaf into your clay, and then you let it dry, and you can do whatever you want with it. If you want to pick up this craft this week, you can pick it up on Monday, Wednesday, or Friday. Give us a call at the number below, fancy, and between the hours of 12 and 2 on those 3 days, and you can pick up your bag. If you really want to do this craft, I recommend calling on Monday or Wednesday, because the last 2 weeks, when we get to Friday, we're already out, because we're making about 25 to 30 crafts for the teens. So yeah, jump in on it if you can, because it is first come, first serve. So when you get to the library, call that number. And then, of course, if you're doing this to complete one of the activities for the summer reading challenge, summer virtual activity challenge, whatever we want to call that. When you complete the challenge, it'll ask you for the secret code word, and that code word is below. So put that in there to complete or get credit for doing this activity. Okie dokies, we will see you next week with, what is it? I think next week we're doing bullet journaling. So that's a little bit less crafty, but still crafty. But we'll show you how to bullet journal. Toodles!